Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lachelle Weemy, a peak performance coach and business strategist dedicated to helping you see what's possible within you, the blind spots that are holding you back, and the solutions to ensure success and fulfillment without the hustle. I use my secret sauce of metaphysics, brain science, and scripture to work with God to manifest your ideal life and business. If you're ready to create massive forward momentum in your business and bust through the blocks that drag you down, join me on the Spiral Up journey and create the clarity, confidence, and consistency to become the CEO that lives your life by design. It's time to create the sustainable impact, income, and time freedom you desire faster. Now is the time to spiral up. Hey friend, and welcome back to the next episode of the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lachelle Weemy, and we are continuing our summer series dedicated to fellow mompreneurs who are doing your best to maintain your business so that it's sustainably profitable and spend time doing the things that you want, spending more time with the kids, at the pool, on vacation, all the things without compromising the success of your business. Boy, it can be so hard. I mean, I definitely get caught up in FOMO of, wanting to be at the pool with the kids and on the bike rides and going on all the vacations. But I definitely know that I don't want to get to September and be like, what the heck happened to my business, right? I am so over trying to hustle for the sake of hustling and constantly feeling like I'm having to give up everything just to make my business profitable month after month. And what I want to do, you guys, is to teach you a couple of my favorite tips on how to not only get you through this summer so that you can spend more time in balance doing the things that you love to do without compromising your business, right? All by leveraging the power of hiring. Now, this episode is going to be likely a little bit different than what you think it's going to be because most of you are thinking, well, yeah, Lachelle, you're just going to teach me how to hire a VA or perhaps another person who can do what I do. And that is true. We are going to talk about that. But I'm also going to talk to you about how to leverage help in other ways so that you can spend the majority of your time doing the things that are important to you, meaning spending time with family, vacationing, and on your business, doing the things that you're really good at that's most profitable. You know what I'm talking about, you guys? Opening your mind up to various solutions. I'm talking hiring babysitters, sending your kids to daycare, or perhaps getting that VA or hiring that contract employee, doing the things that you can do to maximize the amount of things that you can get done with the least amount of your own time. All right, this is great. Now, we're going to dive into how the heck that happens and all the things. But first, I want to acknowledge something. What I've noticed in years of helping people do this is that when it comes to hiring help, and it doesn't matter if it's the babysitter or if it's the VA or a contract employee, there are two things that hold people back. One of them is simply fear. We fear things like, how in the heck am I going to make sure that I can afford to hire this help? Or maybe we fear that we don't want everybody into our messy, right? Like my inbox, my Google Drive, my pictures, my Canva, they're a disaster. I cannot possibly let somebody else come into that space. And so we allow our fear of imperfection to be seen from actually getting the help that we want, right? We also might fear of missing out. Like, I don't want to hire somebody to watch my kids because it means that I'm not watching my kids. And we allow all of those fears to impact our decision making. Now, the other thing that holds people back is we simply just don't know what to do, right? Like, I don't know how to find help, Lachelle. I don't know how to delegate or what to delegate or how to onboard or what do I pay these people? And we are absolutely going to get into overcoming those fears and giving you some very practical strategies in order to execute the act of hiring. But first, what I want to do is to talk to you about the possibilities of what hiring can give you. Because here's the deal, friend. Once we understand the bigger picture, once we understand the vision and the why behind it, it is much more easy for us to face those fears, to do the things that frighten us, and to find the resources that we need to actually execute, right? All of a sudden, I don't know what to do becomes less of an issue because you just freaking figure it out. But in order for you to do that, you have to be able to understand why it's so important to begin with. Now, I can certainly give you tips and tricks to get you through the next couple months. Here we are, it's still June. There's still plenty of time for you to really explode your business this summer, not just maintain it and spend more time doing the things that you love. But in order for us to do that, we also have to start seeing the big picture, because what can happen when we really start leveraging the things that I'm going to teach you in the next little bit, you can use those to design your life and your business beyond the summer months, so that you start to live the life that you want without being tied to your business 24/7. I don't know about you, but it doesn't matter if it's June or December or February. I got tired. I was burnt out. I was hustling for the sake of hustling. I felt like there was always something to do, always something to get caught up, or something to do for me to get ahead. And it was exhausting. And it was when I started to leverage the power of hiring and really getting intentional about my time, I started to have not only the profitability that I wanted to, but the balance that I longed for. All right, you ready? Now, one of the exercises that I take my clients through, and I've even talked about it in my book, Get Out of God's Way, is a way for you to understand what your time is worth. Okay. Now, we're all given the same 24 hours in a day, but many of us actually utilize that time more effectively and efficiently. How is that? It's by recognizing how valuable our time is. And guys, it's not replaceable, right? It's not refundable. It just is. And so let's be really intentional about how we utilize the minutes that we're given. Now, let's use a sustainable 10K month as our motivation and easy math for this exercise. So let's just say that that's our goal. I'm also going to ask you, what would you love your life to look like? Many of us are working way more hours in a given week than we want to, and it would be amazing to be able to pare that down a little bit. So what would that look like to you? Many of my clients tell me, Lachelle, 20 hours would be freaking amazing. If I could work 20 hours in my business, that would allow me to be able to get to all the things with the kids. It'd be allowing me to take the time off that I want to, and it would allow me to maintain my business. That would be amazing. And so what we're going to do in this exercise is we're going to take that ideal $10,000 month and that ideal 20-hour week, and we're going to do a little reverse engineering math to figure out what we're worth. All right, you ready for this? So if we think about it, 20 hours a week times 4, which is the 4 weeks of the month, that gives us a total of 80 hours a month that we're wanting to work. All right. If our goal is $10,000 a month, working 80 hours a week, or I'm sorry, 80 hours a month, that is going to equate to our hourly rate being worth $125 an hour. What that means is that when I am making the decisions of how I'm going to fill those minutes and those hours, I have to ask myself, is this task worth $125 an hour? When it comes to spending time with my family, hell yes, it is. But when it comes to scrubbing my toilets, hell to the no, right? And so when I think about it, if it takes me 4 hours to clean my house and I am worth $125, friend, my house is not worth $900 of my time. So I can better justify the fact that it's okay for me to consider hiring a housekeeper. Or maybe even if my kids are older, giving them an allowance to clean the house and teaching them some skills, right? How can you start to look at the tasks that you have going on and say, is it worth that? Maybe you've been really struggling to create this lead magnet and you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know where to start with Canva and I don't even know what to do. But you have somebody that you could hire to create the graphic in Canva and use ChatGPT to give you a nice outline and skeleton in which to use as a sounding board, and that you can adjust from there. And you've now just taken that task that has been overwhelming and would likely take you hours and has been energetically stifling you because you've been thinking about it and ruminating about it. And you can pay somebody from Upwork or Fiverr to get it done for you in a fraction of the time at a fraction of the cost. So think about the things that you want to do in your business and how you can really look at it from an objective standpoint and say, is this task worth $125? Is there somebody out there that can do that same task for $25? That is smart business, friend. And you have to make sure that when you're looking at your tasks, if you wouldn't pay somebody to do it and it's not worth $125 of your time, then maybe it's not a priority.
And many of the things that I see happening with people that are burnt out and are overwhelmed is that they have a hard time prioritizing what they should be spending their time on. And that's a really great tool to help you decipher, like, maybe that's for down the road. All right. And what are my priorities now? Another thing that I think is really helpful when I think about this whole like time and money transaction is thinking about it in terms of our children. Now, many of us moms feel guilty when we're working on our business when we could be with our kids, and we feel guilty when we're with our kids because we should be working on our business. And I'm going to give you permission right now to set that boundary with yourself and ask yourself, what would this look like if I were able to hire some high school or college kid to come and watch my kids for 3 hours, 5 days a week? And I pay them, let's say, I don't even know what the going rate is now, $12 an hour, $10 an hour, I don't even know. But I'm giving them $10 an hour to watch my kids. And my time is worth 125. I am more likely then to be able to get done what needs to get done because I've invested in my future. I know that my time and what I can accomplish in that time is worth more than what it's costing me to have somebody watch my kids for a couple of hours, right? Now, the other thing that happens is a really cool, crazy bonus, but when we hire people to do things for us, it creates more intentionality and time scarcity that we can use to our advantage when we're actually sitting down to do our work. Here's an example. If I think that I have 8 hours to get something done, even though it's 8 hours of interrupted time because I have kids around, I am going to literally, I can't remember, it's a law, and I can't remember what it's called, but we will literally use up and take up the time we're given. And so we're not going to be as efficient or as effective with that time. But if I know that I only have 3 hours of uninterrupted time that I have to get my stuff done, I am way more intentional with that time. I'm going to know exactly what I have to do on my to-do list. I'm going to set my timers to get things done. I'm going to turn off the notifications on my phone and my computer, and I am going to get shit done because the time is scarce. My productivity is going to be way more than what it would have on my own. All right. Now, speaking of that built-in accountability when you hire someone, I want you to consider hiring a VA. It is amazing. And many of my clients who had never hired anybody before they worked with me discovered that hiring a VA is literally like a built-in accountability partner. Now, I have an amazing assistant, client experience director, Jamie. And you guys, I got to tell you that Jamie is fantastic for so many reasons. But one of the things that's so helpful is that she's like, hey, Lachelle, I need this by this day. It gives me that opportunity to know that I'm accountable to get that done. There's no more procrastination. There's no more overthinking it. There's no more perfectionism getting in the way. It just has to get done. And so I want you to consider yourself thinking, if I have a hard time getting the things done, if I literally had somebody else counting on me to get them the things that they need to do for their job, it's way more likely for me to get it done. And so hiring somebody to help you get more done is absolutely a game changer if you've never experienced that before. Now, the other thing that I want you to consider when it comes to hiring people is like, who the heck do I hire and how do I pick that out? All right. Now, we can have an entire another conversation around hiring people and how to choose people to hire in another episode. I talk about it inside of my program, the Spiral Up Success Secrets, inside of the module on delegation. But one thing I want you to consider is hiring people that have skills that you don't. I am a big picture thinker. I'm a visionary. I love all of the things, hate all the details, right? Jamie, my assistant, my client experience director, is amazing at details. She loves organizing my emails. She loves organizing my Canva, my Google Drives, and giving me lists and deadlines and telling me what to do. And it's amazing because I get more done because of that. So surrounding yourself with people who have skill set that you don't. Now, a lot of people are like, Lachelle, I really don't know what it is that I'm supposed to be delegating. And I'm going to just ask you right now, if you could spend the majority of your time doing 2 or 3 things that bring you the most money, what are those things? Chances are it's going to be actually serving clients, right? It's going to be having conversations with prospective clients. And it might be, one other thing. And so I'm going to tell you, focusing on those tasks that no one else can do but you, that are the most profitable is going to give you the chance to make the most progress and gain in the little bit of time as possible. What you can then do is say, okay, if there are things that other people can do those people cost less than what my hourly rate is? And if the answer is yes, then I want you to consider hiring those things out. You also can think about what are the things that you know it takes you a lot longer to do, and it would take somebody a fraction of the time. So if I hire an expert to knock out a whole bunch of social media and it takes them an hour where it would take me 10, that, my friend, is a no-brainer. So thinking about what takes you a lot of time, what are you not that great at, and what do you not like to do? I do not like to clean my toilets. I do not like to sweep my floors. So I hire those things out. And then I can take that time and I can devote it back into either working on the things that I'm really good at, like working with my clients, right? Or the things that only I can do, like recording my podcast or my training videos inside of my courses. And so everything else, then I get to delegate out. So Jamie does all my podcast producing. She does all my social media around that. It's amazing. I don't have to worry about it because that is something I absolutely trust her with. And I am the only person who can record these episodes, right? And so that is how you can start to think about, what would I delegate? So maybe it's, oh my gosh, driving your kids to all of these activities. They have practice in all the different parts of town. Who do you know that you could hire? A college kid that you trust to just bring your kids around, right? There are so many different things in your life, personally and professionally, that would allow for you to work smarter, not harder. And I want you to consider doing that. Okay. Now, some of you might be like, Lachelle, that sounds amazing, but I'm not even sure if I can afford it at all, or it just overwhelms me because I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to maintain my business to be able to continue to pay these people. There's a couple of things that I'm going to bring up about this, okay? Number one is I live from a place of the law of assumption. The law of assumption says that I act as if I expect with Thanksgiving that things are already in the way that I desire. So if I am worried about my business being in lack, that is where my energy is focusing on, and that's what I'm going to get. So I choose to focus my energy into expecting that my business is going to continue to thrive. Okay. So if I focus on not having enough money to pay my staff, that's what I'm going to get. But if I focus on just, I know that this is going to bring in the business and this is an investment in my future. And if I can just concentrate on what I'm really good at, I know that I'm going to be making more than what I'm paying them. And I'm going to lead with that expectation. That's something that you can absolutely do. I have friends that would suggest, saving up a couple of months that for sure that you could pay them if business slows down. That's a really great practical tool, but that's not the space that I live in most of the time. We're in the summer. Let's make sure that we do make decisions right now that are going to help us get through the summer. And there are some really creative ways that I'm going to share with you that you can do it on a budget. Okay. First thing I'm going to say there about that is I want you to consider things in a good, better, best philosophy. That's how I teach my clients to look at things. You are going to be better off thinking about what is a good way for me to proceed? What is one small step that I can do? What is a good enough for now that is going to get me over the hump? Then you can start to look for better ways, and ultimately we can work together to get to the best. But if you are waiting to get to the best, you're never going to start. You're going to let overthinking and analysis paralysis and perfectionism and getting ready to get ready hold you back from ever starting. Okay. So what is a good solution that we can start with? A good solution, something that I've done and I absolutely like, one of my absolute favorite things to do, is think about, who do I know that I could leverage right now to help me that is going to be a lower cost but a good fit. For example, I have for years allowed interns into my business. And all I did was I went on Facebook and I went on the community moms page and I said, hey, I am I'm accepting applications for a summer intern for high school juniors and seniors who are looking to go into either sales, marketing, or entrepreneurship. They can apply here. And I had a little like essay, and I had an interview for them, and they were chosen. This is a 90-day unpaid internship in which they got to learn by doing. I mentored them. I taught them things like social media, sales, marketing, businesses, budgeting, all the things that goes into running a business as a solopreneur. And then they learned by doing. And it was amazing because they got the experience. And then at the end, I would give them a letter of recommendation. And then at the end of 90 days, we got to decide together if they were a good fit, both with their, their high school schedule and the activity that they were in, as well as like me thinking that they were a good fit to stay on at a paid position. And I looked at other, jobs that age of group of people could get and how much they were paying. And I offered a similar, hourly wage. It worked out amazing. And these kids are so savvy with social media. I learned stuff from them. So could you start to look at something like that to leverage over the summer? And then perhaps in the fall, because it's worked, you've been able to now afford to pay them. Okay. The other thing that you could try to do is think about ways to hire people on a lower budget. My very first assistant that I hired was from the VA, Philippines. She was a VA from the Philippines. In the Philippines, little did I know, but I did some research on this. They're English speaking, very, very Catholic country. So we share the similar Christian values. And the cost of a Filipino VA is anywhere between $2 and $10 an hour. I found an amazing VA on a Facebook group. I interviewed several of them. Junica has been with me since 2019. And I know for certain that Junica has connections with other VAs in the Philippines if you guys need that resource. Like, leverage who you know. I want you to consider, what jobs do you need to get done that would make a huge difference, and who do I know that could possibly fulfill that? You might want to consider a neighborhood teenager that could enter data into your CRM just to get you caught up, or to create a bunch of graphics in Canva that you can pre-schedule out. Maybe you decide to pay them in cash, and it's a win-win for everybody. And so I want you to start thinking about, how can I be resourceful with the things that I'm doing? Maybe you can pay your kids to do some chores around the house. They get money, they get the skills. You don't have to do it yourself. But when you start to leverage the resources that you have, the people that you know, and you start to make intentional decisions around the time that you're spending, knowing that you are choosing to either be devoted to the task at hand, the things that you're really good at that bring in the most money, or you're spending time doing what you love because it's summer and your kids are there and you want to be doing all the things. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, I'm pre-recording a whole bunch of episodes for July because I am barely home in July. I love the fact that I get to travel as much as I do, and I get to continue to run a very successful business, but it's because of the leveraging of working really smart on how I spend my time and who I have in my corner. And I want you to start doing the same. I want you to utilize the summer as the launch pad for the rest of the year, the launch pad for you designing the life that you want. Let's not try to just survive the summer and not have our business go backwards, but let's start to use this as the urgency that we need to start making decisions that are going to help us in the long term. There is a beautiful possible life that you can create a sustainable 10K income and travel and spend time with your family and not be burnt out all the time, not be overwhelmed, not be caught in the hustle for the sake of hustling. There are things, there are resources, there are solutions that you can absolutely tap into right now. And one of them actually is, I have a masterclass coming up, and it's all about banishing the burnout to get you to sustainable 10K. I am accepting a wait list for this masterclass. And if you want to be on the wait list for this amazing resource to help you get really, really good at managing the time that you have so that you can start to create sustainable 10K months without all of the overthinking and burnout, then I want you to go ahead into the show notes and put your name on the wait list with the link that we provide, okay? Let's start utilizing the pain, the longing, the discontentment that we have right now to help us to make the decisions that are going to bring us the life by design that we want. I know for a fact, friend, that it is time as a mompreneur that you start to see yourself as a CEO, that you stop settling and you start to truly step into your role as the boss that you are capable of being. All right, you guys, I will see you next week, same time, same place. And I hope that you have an amazing, beautiful summer day. Bye, guys.
So much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Each honest review helps me spiral up so that I can serve you even better. Whether you're feeling a lack of impact, income, or time freedom, or perhaps you're just ready for massive momentum in your business, let's chat. Apply for a breakthrough call so that you can gain clarity, identify what's holding you back, and make a plan to spiral up. Head on over to im-lifebydesign.com/breakthrough or access the link in the show notes. For immediate support, log into our community, the Better Club. We focus on inspiration, tactical guidance, and support. This is a community that wants to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business, and we're going to help you do the same. Let's spiral up, friends.